Okay, so let's begin. What are the tips for writing the best prompts? So, you can literally create the best prompts by yourselves. You don't need to see anyone, you don't need to follow anyone. You just need to follow a basic set of rules. And these are the rules that I'm going to be speaking about right now. There are 9 such rules that you need to follow, 9 such tips you can say that you need to follow in order to create very, very good prompts. And good prompts will give you good results. This is, take it for given. So yeah, starting off, what are the various tips for writing the best prompts? Number one, offer context. Very, very important. Just like humans, AI does better with context. When you are given certain piece of context and asked to respond, asked questions basis on that particular context, you will do much better than without context. Think about exactly what you want the AI to generate and provide a prompt that's tailored specifically to that. Okay, I'll just show you example. You might, if you're confused, I'll just show you certain example. So let's say this is a basic prompt. Over here you are asking the AI to write about productivity. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's do the exercise hand in hand. I'm doing it on my laptop. I want you all to watch the entire lecture first, watch the entire example first, pause the screen, press the space bar, pause the screen, and then implement the same thing again in your systems as well. This will help you in basically practicing the. Okay, so let's do the first one. The first one is, let's say you have to write about productivity, but you have a specific use case in mind. But you ask ChatGPT a very simple thing: write about productivity. Let's see how the response is. Look at the response. Productivity is the measure of how efficiently and effectively you can complete a task or achieve a goal within given time frame. Amazing, right? Like ChatGPT is something which is mind blowing. So it gives us a pretty detailed answer on what exactly is productivity. Like anyone who wishes to go through, they can go through this particular answer in detail. It talks about the characteristics of productivity as well. What are the key factors to achieve productivity, and then what are the factors to manage your time effectively. So these are the various things that ChatGPT has given us an answer with. But but let's say if you were looking for something different, you were not exactly looking for just productivity, but you had an assignment of basically writing a blog about the importance of productivity for small businesses. This was the end objective that you have in mind, but you gave a prompt to ChatGPT that you just want to know about productivity. So in that particular case, ChatGPT just gave you a very generic response on what exactly is productivity. But if your end outcome, as I mentioned in the first slide, you need to have the end outcome in mind, and you need to provide the AI with the context. So over here, your context is that you want to write a blog post about the importance of productivity, and that too only for small businesses. So if you mention this thing in your prompt, this is where magic will start to happen. Okay, let's mention the same thing. Write a blog post about productivity. What was it? For small businesses, right? About the importance of productivity for small businesses. Of productivity for small businesses. Let's say we enter this. Now look at the response. Over here, you will get a very tailor-made response. This is the response exactly what you're looking for. You were looking for the importance of productivity for small businesses, and you wanted to portray it in a blog format as well. Now, ChatGPT will give you the response which is very specific to what your use case is. And yeah, you can look at the response. This is like mind-blowing stuff, right? You would have taken at least, I would say, 1.5 hours. Maybe if you're very good, maybe less than 60 minutes. But maybe if you are very average in writing content, this could have taken you more than 5-6 hours as well. If you did your own research and wrote by yourself, and if you are not very fast in content writing, which is absolutely fine. Not a lot of us are. So you can see over here that the answer that you are getting over here is very, very specific to your use case, and you can just simply copy paste it for the use case that you're looking for. So this is the importance of giving context. By mentioning over here that you want a blog thing, you get a result which is very, very objective oriented, like the objective that you had in mind, that is what it returned. Let's go to example number 2. So over here you are mentioning ChatGPT about the writing about the importance of SEO for brand building. Okay, so let's type it out over here. Let's practice everything while doing it. The results would be very good. I'm sure you all know about it. So write about the importance of SEO for brand building. About the importance of SEO for brand building. Let's type it out and see what is the result. So over here again you would get an answer which is very, very generic. Okay, it is just about the importance of SEO for brand building. But what exactly do you need this particular content information for? If you just need it for your research, then it's absolutely fine. But if you want to take this content piece and use it as an end format piece, like you want to show it somewhere, you want to post it somewhere, you want to email a client about it, you want to just mention it in your website, so you can do a lot of things with these things, right? Over here you are getting an answer which is absolutely amazing. Like it tells you about the importance of SEO. It tells you that it increases visibility, it improves credibility, it increases website traffic, and etc. It gives you all the advantages. It tells you, in fact, tells you the strategies as well which you can follow. But let's say your end outcome was that you have to email a client about the importance of brand building, importance of SEO for brand building. Let's say you have to email a client about it and convince the client to take your services of SEO for the same. So then you cannot send a client something like this. This is a very generic response, right? There is no call to action. This is a very generic response about what exactly is SEO and how SEO can help you in brand building. This is where context plays a very, very important role in. So instead of the basic prompt on which we mentioned earlier, which was write about the importance of SEO for brand building, you can mention a better prompt. Okay, so what is the better prompt? You can simply, but you can take it, just type it out in your ChatGPT windows as well. So basically whatever your context is, you need to provide it to ChatGPT and it will yield you the response that you are looking for. So over here, since we wanted to email the client about the same, so we can mention the exact same thing. As a digital marketer, write an email to your client mentioning about the importance of SEO for brand building and why they should start with their SEO ASAP. So over here you are asking ChatGPT to make a response, make an email basically, which you can send directly to your client, telling them about the importance of SEO for brand building, and then basically telling them that they should start with their SEO ASAP. Now this would help you as a digital marketer. It would help you because if the client actually decides to start SEO after reading your email, they can simply hire you for the service that you provide. So this is like a way of doing email marketing as well. Like you can create your email content like this. So let me input this particular prompt and see what the result is. Now see, look at the difference between this particular result and that result. This result is good for research base. It tells you about the importance of SEO for brand building. But this particular result, this is the ultimate thing. It tells you everything that you should be mentioning in the email itself. Basically, it has just reduced your effort. Like if to create something like this, if to research something like this, you took 30 minutes earlier, and then to write the email you took 30 minutes more. So it was 1 hour of worth of effort. Over here, this is just like 15 seconds worth of effort. Okay, you just need to enter a good prompt and it will output you, it will yield you the result, which is something like this, which is basically you just need to copy paste it and just make very, very few changes to it and you'll be done with it. So look at it, the subject, the importance of SEO for brand building. Dear client name, I hope this email finds you well. So it's a very professional email, right? It's a very professional email which you can actually use it directly. It tells you about the reasons why you should be doing SEO for brand building as well. And again, it ends with a good note. Thank you for considering the importance of SEO in your brand building strategy. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. So there's a very good chance that you will get a response from the client and may be able to convert that lead into actually a paying customer as well. So this is how you can, leverage ChatGPT for such purposes. Okay, let's move on to the next. So these were the first two examples of providing context. I hope you're getting a glimpse of, why exactly context is important. You see the difference in results, right? When you provide context versus when you don't provide context. I'll give you one more example to make things more clear for you. So okay, so now comes, basically, I guess a lot of you might have, watched the series Game of Thrones, or you might have read the books about Game of Thrones. So let's say if you have to write a story about dragons, okay? If you're given a task on writing a story about dragons, very interesting it sounds, right? So let me just type it out. Write story about dragons. I, okay, so now look at it. So you will get a very good response on, and basically you will get a story about dragons. It has made some random story. I am not sure if this is a real story. Once upon a time in the land far away, there lived a fierce dragon named Ember. Ember was the ruler of mountains and the protector of skies. He had deep scales that shone in the sun, and his roar was louder than thunder. So, I guess the story is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if this is a real story, but the story seems interesting. The first paragraph itself seems to set the tone of the entire story. But to be very honest, someone who has watched so much of Game of Thrones and the following series as well after that, if I am hearing a story or reading a story about dragons, would somewhat relate it to Westeros, or to Game of Thrones in some way, or to George R.R. Martin in some way. Now, here comes to the second, one more beauty about ChatGPT. What you can actually do, you can tell ChatGPT the kind of story, the kind of style it should follow in order to write that story. Be it a poem, be it a story, you can simply tell ChatGPT, this is the writing style I want you to follow, and it will follow that. Now look at the difference when I enter the prompt like this. So instead of just writing a story about dragons, now I ask ChatGPT, write a story about dragons in the style of George R.R. Martin. George R.R. Martin, for all of you who don't know, he was the writer of this particular book called, Game of Thrones, and the entire web series, I'm sure you must have heard about it if you have not watched it, was on this particular book itself, and George R.R. Martin was the storyteller about that particular book. Now, when I mention ChatGPT that I want you to write about this story in the style of George R.R. Martin, now look at the result that you will be getting. So look at it. Let's give it a few seconds and it will respond. Okay, now look at it. Okay, so in the land of Westeros, there were tales of ancient dragons that once ruled the skies. They were fearsome creatures with scales as hard as steel and breath that could melt stone. So for those of you know, this is the exact writing style of George R.R. Martin. Like it's very similar. This is something that I can really tell you. If you have not watched the series, if you have watched it, you would already know that it is very similar. So this is the beauty, right? Like if you're writing a poem, if you're writing a blog piece, if you're writing a story, if you're writing anything basically, and if there is a famous personality whose style you want ChatGPT to replicate, you can simply mention that and it will do that. So yeah, this is also one very interesting way of providing context to ChatGPT to get the kind that you are looking for. So this was about the first tip for the day, first tip for writing effective prompts. I hope you all have noted everything down on a piece of paper, and like the way I was practicing it in my particular system, I want you all to open ChatGPT, watch the lecture probably again if you want to, and practice each and everything that word in this particular lecture, because this is practicing it is gonna help you get better at it. You can try new examples. Just take on random examples and write a normal prompt, write a basic prompt, write a prompt with context, and see the difference. You will get it yourself. So that's it for this particular lecture. I'll see you in the next one.